Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tania. Today's video will be what I learned from 2021, or what 2021 taught me. It's basically a reflective video about some of the things that I've been thinking about, I've been dwelling over, I've been pondering about myself, about things going on around me, and I thought to myself, why not share this with you and just sort of perhaps maybe encourage you to also think about what is it that these last couple of years have really emphasized to us. There are quite a few things that I have explored within myself, and I thought I'd share them with you. Let me know what you think, and also if you feel comfortable to do so, please write down in the comments below what conclusions you've come to recently. Some of these that I'm going to share with you are quite personal, and obviously personal to me, and certainly whatever I share with you today is by no means me telling you how you should live your life. No, these are just some things that I've discovered that I think I will try to implement and may work for me. Of course, some of them will still need some work, and certainly they have not been definitively accomplished, but I'm working towards it. So let's get on with it. I have listed in front of me here in my agenda 12 dot points that I think are significant to me and my life. The first one is to preserve and cherish those little moments. And by those little moments, I mean those little wins. So despite the fact that here in Melbourne, we've been in lockdown for, in total, almost a whole year, little wins for me would be having more catch-ups with people. A lot of them, of course, were done online using social media, and thank God for social media. Let's just put that out there. Thank God for the internet, because I don't know how I would have coped, especially in 2020, without the internet, that's for sure. There was that urge, that desire, that drive to make a point of catching up with people more. Other small moments would be spending time with my kids, them helping me move into this house. My sons especially sort of stepping up, and me noticing them becoming young men as opposed to older boys, looking out for me, being somewhat protective. An example I can give you is that first night that I moved in with my kids and they were sleeping here that night. We unloaded a whole lot of things from the back of my car, and I told the kids that I would go out and get some takeaway food from a little cafe nearby. And my son decided to sweep the garage because he said, "Mum, there's too many nails around and you might get a puncture." Now, I didn't ask him to do that. He just volunteered to do that. And that to me is small indication of stepping up and becoming a young man. Having laughs with my kids, sitting down and doing a Harry Potter marathon with my daughter, because we both love Harry Potter, or being excited, watching her run down my corridor when I told her that the Harry Potter 20th anniversary thing was on. It's a lot of those little moments that are worth and important to celebrate and not forget. So I used to take a lot of those little moments. While I recognized them in the past, I used to take them for granted. So now I don't, and I make a point of telling myself, remember that. That's important. Remember that. Point number 2, staying true to myself. Now that relates to personally in my private life as well as my work life. And I've written here, it's to always be honest. There have been times when I haven't been entirely honest with someone because I didn't want to hurt their feelings. And although I haven't necessarily lied, I've been very selective about what I've said. And I thought to myself, in doing that, although I'm showing some compassion towards the other person, I'm not really being true to myself. So I have practiced very carefully being honest and being upfront with people about whatever it is that needs to be said. And I have to admit, I'm not going to lie, I have sort of practiced on my brothers and mum, but it's a good thing. And I think it's important to always be honest, because there's nothing to catch you out then. And being honest immediately puts everybody on the same level playing field. And I think that's significant in helping relationships develop and advance. I've decided that I will not forsake my standards, and that this now relates to my work ethic. I will not forsake my standards because others say to me, "Oh, you work too hard," or "You do too much," or "You need to take a break," or just because someone else's standards are different to mine. And that's perfectly fine because everyone has their own standards. Whatever, you do you, boo. But I've decided that I'm not going to forsake those anymore. I do work hard, and I know that, and I've said that quite a few times here on my channel, and I think that's one of my strengths. And so I have started to become a little bit annoyed when people say to me, oh, you've got to care less. I disagree with that entirely. To me, that's a cop-out. Or just don't worry about it. Or, oh, well, it's on them. A lot of those offhand statements that to me are insulting to my work ethic and also disrespectful to my role or my job, so to speak. Now, having said that, I have been quite conscious of the fact that I really was feeling the burnout, and it was affecting me. You know, psychologically, it was really affecting me. And there have been times when I thought to myself that I actually didn't want to do this job anymore. And that's not something that I enjoy saying because I love my job. I pour myself into my job because I get so much satisfaction out of it. Feeling burned out because of the workload, because of the pressures of home learning, and because of the pressures of everything going on around us is sad. And then topped off with dismissive comments is really difficult for me to take. Point number 3 relates to luxury and a lot of these goodies that, you know, you and I love. I don't have to own everything I see and like. Now that's difficult for me. Well, not that difficult because obviously I can't afford everything I see and like. But the other part of it is that I've always been the type of person that when I like something, I have to have it. But that doesn't necessarily work with luxury because luxury, as we know, is luxury. And what makes it luxury is that there's not so much of it. These days, well, that's a little bit different, isn't it? I really have to rein myself in, and I really want to move away from that. I'm not a minimalist. I never will be. I never was. And I couldn't be because I'm also the type of person that gets bored easily. So no, I can't be a minimalist. But I have to be careful about controlling my urges, spending urges, because I just can't afford, and I shouldn't have so many things. I work hard. I know I want to spend hard. I can't though because, you know, responsibilities. Point number 4 comes to self-talk. Now this is something that I am still working on. So this is one of those unaccomplished reflections, and that is about myself, about my ability. I've often thought that I just don't do enough in my job for my students or for my own kids or as a mother or as a, you know, just a homeowner. I feel like I'm just not able to do enough, or I just don't do enough. Even when it comes to my own self, you know, I've mentioned a few times now that I've been struggling with my self-image because of my weight gain, because of menopause, which is out of my control. So I really have to learn to be kind to myself. And many people have said that to me, and I'm trying to do that. That is some advice that I'm really trying to take on board. But it's difficult to combat a short period of time of positive thinking and positive self-talk with years and years and years of negative self-talk and negative self-image. So definitely I have to think about and be more mindful before I criticize myself or the way I look or the way I do something. I should be kinder to myself. Point number 5. Now this is something that came about when I moved into this house in April 2021. And that is learning to do things for myself. So the reason I say that is, although here I am at the ripe old age of 49, there are a lot of things that I just never really did for myself. And once I moved into my own home, I started learning how to do that. And I appreciate that. And I think to myself, there's satisfaction out of learning how to do something, working on it, and actually seeing it come to fruition. So it might mean something like putting a shelf together, or putting my kids' bedroom furniture together, or organizing a system so that I don't fall behind when it's time to pay bills, or ensuring that I have my budget ready to go for whatever may come my way. They're things that I never really had to do. Some maintenance on the house, for example, I've learned how to do some of these things. And these are things I never really had to do. Learning to do a lot of these things for myself just helped to boost some of my self-esteem. So I don't like things being done for me. I like to learn how to do something. So often I will say to people, oh, can you show me how to? And then if someone just does it for me, great. Temporarily, in the short term, it's great because it's like, oh, great, it's done for me. Thank you, I appreciate it. But long term, I don't, because I haven't learned how to do it. So often now what I do is I research how to do something myself. And if I'm just too confused because it might be too complicated, then I will reach out. Point number 6, I love my alone time. I like being alone. Sometimes people say to me, oh, do you feel lonely? No. Oh, don't you get lonely after a period of time, or when you don't have your kids? No, I like my alone time. I have some of my pastimes that I can fulfill, such as this, or reading, or certainly plenty of schoolwork. So I actually like my me time. I like being on my own, and being on my own is different to feeling lonely. I don't ever feel lonely. I just want to be on my own recently. I have things I want to do, and that's what I want to do. And I'm happy with that. I'm content. My own company is something that I value. Point number 7 picks up more on point number 5 about positive self-talk. And this is trying to see what others see in me that I just can't see. So this again relates to self-esteem. So when someone says, oh, and offers me a compliment, I always thank them, but I never believe them. I don't care who you are. I will never believe you because I just don't believe those positive comments. And that stems from a whole lot of trauma in the past and being told that people never mean these things. And so that sticks in my mind. And that one comment surpasses all the other positive and complimentary type of comments. So that's something I really need to work on. Point number 8. Now, this is something I have learned through experience this year in particular, and that is keeping quiet. And by keeping quiet, I mean just let people say what they want to say, let people do what they want to do. My natural inclination is to offer support or to offer advice. But with some people, it doesn't come across the way it's intended, even though I'm very careful about how I say it and the tone. In fact, I try to keep tone out of everything, just about most things. But people see that as an attack, which is ironic because I am the most conflict-averse person you will ever come across. So I'm finding now that I'm keeping to myself. I'm just not offering as much advice as I have in the past, because some people see it as me telling them what to do, which is not the case. I will always be compassionate. I'll always be considerate and all that sort of thing. But I'm just finding now that I'm just keeping more to myself. I think there's a lot to learn by observing others and watching what others say and do. I'll always contribute to conversations. I'll always be involved in people's lives by all means. But I'm just super cautious now. And I think a couple of things really emphasize that to me, that really sent that message home to me. I think the best thing for me to do now as I'm getting older is to be less reactive and less forthcoming with advice or suggestions than I have been. So that was quite a lesson that I learned, but I learned it, and I'm the type of person that I'll learn things quickly. So that's that. Let me know what you think of that. Point number 9 is interesting, and this is one that's come about from some negative experiences in 2020, and that is overcoming certain fears. Would you believe that for some reason I have developed, or what's the word, established a fear of emails? It's quite stupid when you think about it. I mean, just a normal person would say, what? Why are you scared of emails? Well, I received so many negative emails and notifications in 2020 that now when I see an email pop up in my Gmail, I'm too scared to open it. And although I can sort of see the subject and I know it's probably something random, it takes me a long time to get to the point where I can actually open this email, which is quite bizarre. Even just receiving mail, it takes me a while. I don't go to my letterbox every day. I can't explain it. I don't know what it is, other than, of course, like I said earlier, having been through some negativity, which is still hanging on with me. But I'm getting better at that, and it's something that I have to consciously tell myself, it's okay to open this email, and if it's good, bad, or ugly, I'll deal with it. It's okay. I've dealt with far worse. I can handle an email. Point number 10 is that I plan to get away more, even just day trips or maybe just short weekend trips, but I want to do it on my own. I have never traveled anywhere on my own. Growing up and before I married, I never traveled, I never went anywhere. Even while married, we only had a few trips here and there, mostly within Australia. I've never been overseas. I want to do that more, even if it's just for a night here or a night there, or even a staycation in the city, and just spend the day going around the city and maybe vlogging it a little bit or not, or just heading out to the luxury boutiques and just browsing and enjoying. I want to do that more. Do I need to spend money to stay in a hotel in the city, in my own city? No, but it's fun to do, and these are little things I want to inject into my everyday life. Just little fun activities now and then. Just want to do a few things on my own for myself. Point number 11 is interesting, and this relates a little bit to an earlier one that I made. It's okay to say no. It is okay to say no. And no on its own is a sentence. And I remember that specifically because a few years ago, the HR manager at my work actually said that in a meeting, in a staff meeting one day. And that really resonated with me because I've always been a yes person, and a yes person in terms of putting others first. And I have to learn to do that less, not because I'm being nasty to others, but just because I have to also look after myself. So it is okay to say no. And my last point, which is point number 12, is given what we've learned, given what we've all been through across the world, given our circumstances, because mine will be different to yours will be different to someone else's, etc., depending on your socio-economic demographic, depending on where you come from. Live your life to the fullest. Live your life. Express yourself. Be yourself. Show yourself. Buy the bag. Buy the shoes if you can. Go somewhere, do that funny thing, wear a costume, color your hair pink, hot pink, add some blue, grey and purple into your hair, which you can't see at the moment. I don't know why you can't see my hair color much anyway, doesn't matter. Do those things, get the pixie haircut, or buy yourself, the car that you've always wanted, or get that surgery, or just do those little things for yourself, because we have one life. And if 2020 and 2021 have shown us anything, it's the fact that time really does fly. And it's true, as you get older, it goes faster. I'll be 50 this year, and my kids love reminding me that's half a century. I said, yeah, I know, but fabulous. But you know what? Live your life the best way you can to its fullest. For me, that means saying no, trying to be kinder to myself, traveling a little bit more, seeing things, just experiencing things and letting myself experience them without beating myself up about it. So guys, let me know what you think of these little lessons that I learned over these last couple of years, but in 2021 especially. I'm sorry this was such a long video. I hope you stuck around through to the end, and if you did, thank you so much. Leave me an emoji of maybe the muscles, yeah. But that indicates that we're all going to be working on this. Everyone's got something that they need to improve upon in themselves, celebrate within themselves, and maybe reevaluate as well. So I look forward to reading your comments as always. Take care, everybody. God bless, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.